Yes.
Welcome everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sure. Yes, sure. We welcome.
Thank you everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Dear friends, All India Institute of Ayurveda organized an international webinar on integrated approach to combat COVID-19. It is my privilege to be here to welcome our distinguished personalities from India and abroad. On this occasion, I take this opportunity to welcome you all from the bottom of my heart. On the behalf of All India Institute of Ayurveda, I first and foremost welcome our Honorable Union Minister of State, Ministry of Ayush, Shri Padeshu Naik ji, for gracing the occasion. I also welcome Honorable Secretary Ministry of Ayush, Padma Shri Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, who has been source of inspiration for all of us. I welcome Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Anurag Sharma ji, who is a constant source of inspiration for us. Today, I take this privilege to welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan ji, Vice Chairman UGC, New Delhi, who is always kind enough to motivate us. I am especially honored to welcome Dr. Ishwar Morandi, Italy, Professor M.S. Baghel ji, ex-director, IPGT and RA Jamnagar, Dr. Amit Bhargav, UK College of Medicine, UK, Dr. George Luis Bera, Argentina, Dr. Geeta Krishnan, Ayush Express, WHO, Geneva. We have with us Shri Pramod Kumar Pathak ji, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Shri Roshan Jaggi ji, Shri P.N. Ranjit Kumar ji, Joint Secretaries, Ministry of Ayush. I welcome you all, sir. I welcome our eminent speakers and panelists of international repute. I welcome Padma Shri Vaidya, Padma Bhushan Vaidya Devendra Guna ji, Dr. Manoj Nesri ji, Dr. D.C. Katoch, Advisor, Ayurveda Ministry of Ayush. We have with us the three pillars of Ayurveda, that is three directors of esteemed Ayurvedic institution of national repute, Professor Anup Thakur ji, Professor Sanjeev Sharma ji, and Professor P.K. Goswami ji. I welcome you all, sir. It's my immense pleasure to welcome Professor K.S. Dimanji, Director General CCRAS, Dr. J.L.N. Shastri ji, CEO NMPB, Professor Yamini Bhushan Tripathi ji, Dean IMS BHU, Vaidya Jayandev Pujari, Chairman Board of Governors, Professor S.S. Savdikar ji, former Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Ayurveda University Jamnagar, Dr. A. Raghu, Joint Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Professor Srinivas Acharya sir, Professor K. N. Dwedi ji, and Anupam Srivastav, Director RAV, for becoming part of this webinar. I also welcome our international speakers, Dr. Mark Rosenberg and Dr. Kerstin Rosenberg from Germany, Irina Vora, Harvard Medical College, Boston, USA, Dr. George Luis Bera, Argentina, Mr. Dilip Ghosh, Australia, Dr. Shiho Okawa, Tokyo, Japan. I also welcome our logo partners, Vishwa Ayurved Parishad, Nasya, Ayurved Vyaspit, Arogya Bharati, Japan Ayurved School, and Ayurved Prema. At last but not least, I welcome all the students, faculties, and Director AIIA, Professor Tanuja Manoj Nesri Madam. I welcome all the viewers from all over the world who are the part of this mega event and watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Welcome to one and all for your kind participation. Now, our Honorable Director, Professor Tanuja Nesri Madam, is requested for opening remarks. Professor Tanuja Manoj Nesri ji.
Namaskar and welcome for the international webinar on integrated approach to combat COVID-19. As the name speaks itself, it is the surviving the storm through shelter of Ayurveda. As everyone speaks and everyone knows that this is a pandemic, and like it's a storm that everyone is looking for some solution. And it's a first of kind, a unique gathering in august presence of our minister, head of the family, Vaidya, Sripad Yasho Naikji, and our secretary Padma Sri Vaidya Kotejaji, and member of parliament Sri Anurag Sharma ji, who is the industry representing the owner of Vaidyanath Limited and representing the entire industry sector in this country, all the esteemed panelists, speakers of the international repute, our MOU partners, directors of national institutes, Director General of our Council, National Medicinal Plant Board, IMPCL, and advisors, and the representation, additional secretary, joint secretary, and the representation of the ministry. Uh, I welcome you all, and we are really happy to announce that with the support of the ministry and our consultant, this seminar webinar is live on all social medias, including YouTube, including Twitter, and Facebook. And we are happy that even though because of Corona there is a social distance, but we are united. There is a blessing in disguise that we are united to find out for the cause, and the cause is finding a solution for combating this Corona, COVID-19. And we are happy to share that since 2016, inception of this institution, All India Institute of Ayurveda, which is a tertiary care institute under Ministry of Ayush and Postgraduate Research and Training Center, uh, with the support and the blessings of the Ministry of Ayush, we could sign our international MOU and collaborators, 16 collaborators, as UK College of Medicine, Prince Charles Foundation, and High Commission of India. I'm sure High Commission of India is also witnessing and contributing to this seminar. And then we have West Indian University from Australia, European Academy of Ayurveda for Germany, Berlin Embassy also is connected through this in this webinar. We have a Harvard Medical School, Boston, who is representing the America right now. And we have from Latin America, Argentina, George Luis Vera is there, and Italy. It is a great learning from this country, and we are really eager to listen from Dr. Morandi, what is his experience in sharing. And there are many other countries where MOU partners have joined for the cause. And as everyone knows, and within India, we have all national institutions and councils. So what we'll do in this next 3 hours, uh, as we know that there is no medicine, effective medicine, even though it's everyone is trying to find out anti-malarial, antiviral, and our ministry also had constituted a task force under the chair-able dynamic leadership of Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, and the entire task force also worked day and night for coming out with the report and consensus to initiate the research and clinical practice guidelines and generic guidelines, including all Ayush practices also. So the common consensus is that in Ayurveda it is said that these type of pandemic situations, even in the history, they were prevalent, and it is termed as Janapadodvamsa Vyadhi. When Janapad, entire community is affected by four causes, Desh, Kal, Jal, and Vayu. So this is a sort of a Desha Vyapad and a Vayu because of air and droplet infection, and because it came from the China, Wuhan countries. So, and because of this season, which is a Chaitra Vasanta spring season, and kapha predominant condition. So when entire community is affected and there is a fear of having infected to each and everyone across this globe, then what is the solution? The solution is one strength of Ayurveda, that is a prevention. And when prevention is the strength, then the immunity boosters, as it is rightly pointed out in the management of Janapadodbhaus Vyadhi, as Rasayan Chikitsa, immunoboosters effective, which are effective from the Ayurveda, can give the solution and ray of hope to survive from this storm. And hence the title, as everyone united, and title, when we come united, we can do better than anyone else can. And that's why the title is a shelter of Ayurveda. Let us provide shelter of Ayurveda for surviving this storm. And we are thankful for all our logo partners who have joined together across the globe. And I'm really happy that we'll be blessed by all luminaries and the stars and the leaders of the leaders who are creating the leaders across the globe and within the country. And we are really blessed and honored to have all directors and heads of the institution and the national leaders and all NGOs, also including Ayurveda Vyaspeed, Aryogya Bharati, and all many NGOs, Nasya, Students Initiative and Student Motive. So all have joined together by maintaining the social distance. We are together just to find out the way for surviving this storm. And what we'll discuss in next few hours, four things we'll recommend, strongly recommend, and submit to the ministry and various ministries across the globe. We are really eager, all our international partners, we are eager to know the international status and sharing your experiences, how we come up and how we cope up with this situation. And from our Ayurveda experts like Padma Vibhushan Vaidya Devendra Tigunaji and our Guru Nam Guru Dr. Baghelji and Srinivas Acharya and many physicians, what is the Ayurveda diagnosis and management of COVID-19? How the entire world looks at the Ayurveda, what is the treatment protocol in Ayurveda, whether COVID is mentioned and how we come out and cope up this situation, and what are the various collaborative research leads. Because today we were searching for the CTRI, clinical trial registry, and to our surprise, there are 50 registrations already, where 2-3 mega population studies and the clinical trials already registered. So entire world and within India, many other partners, including ICMR and many other agencies, they have come out to join the hands for doing the conducting the collaborative research. So many more clinical trials will come out, and in the global dashboard, maybe Ayurveda name will come out as an authentic and uh, scientific stream, which can provide a novel medicine for combating the corona and integrative approach. And what are the various government initiatives? Maybe our government leaders, bureaucrats, they will share with us what government initiative, mega initiatives are doing in India. Unparalleled work 24/7 everyone is doing. May we are really eager to know from our secretary and additional secretary. And what is going to be new normal? Yes, because corona, even that increasing curve will flatten. But what is the exit plan? How we really define new normal? Because since last 2 months, all our clinical and the other classes, teaching institutions, we are online. We are conducting our online teaching training program. We have started telemedicine, and many other things are digital. So what is the new normal? Even CCIM president Dev Pujari ji is here, and so we are really eager to define altogether what could be the definition of new normal and how we really cope up with this new emerging situation, which will last for next 1 year. So this is the plan. This is the first of its beginning to initiate the dialogue within India and all with our international partners. So I welcome one and all for joining the hands and joining these collaborations. And I'm sure we will come out with some consensus and a recommendation so that the others will follow it. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Secretary. And now, may I request Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, Vice Chairman UGC, for his opening remarks as the Chairman of the task force. What are the initiatives and your thoughts, sir? Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, please.
Yeah, namaste to everyone, and thank you, Dr. Tanuja Nesri, for inviting me, and congratulations to you and your entire team at All India Institute of Ayurveda for organizing this webinar on a very, very important theme. The name also you have given very imaginatively. I must say that you are using the term storm, and as all of us know, storm is not only the storm which is devastating us outside, but this storm, this cytokine storm, which is destroying the patients inside also. So that storm denoting cytokine storm actually it's considered as one of the major reasons why rapid deterioration is happening in the patients. And one of the main opportunity for us in this diversity or in this adversity for Ayurveda is bringing back our rasayana, our immunity boosting measures, as Dr. Tanuja has said. And I must tell you that Ministry of Ayush, under the able leadership of our beloved Minister Shripad Ji Naik, and professional Vaidya, who is now secretary, which is very unique in India, not coming from the regular channel, but as a lateral entry, and a person who takes pride in calling himself as Vaidya, a person with a great vision. They are leading this important ministry, and rightly they have taken several steps, very, very timely several steps to combat against the sudden difficult situation that all of us were facing. And the ministry decided to form interdisciplinary research and development task force for combating against COVID. And I must thank them for inviting me to chair this important task force. What I will do in next just 5 minutes is to give you overview. First, I want to ensure you that through this task force, we are trying to bring a very, very robust science in this field now. We have developed a team of over 100 top scientists from India who come from various different disciplines, and all of them have joined together for a cause that how can we do and contribute something from Ayurveda to combat against COVID. So this starts from population-based study. As you know, our Prime Minister has announced various measures, for prophylaxis, and people have given overwhelming response to him. So we want to know that what are the socio-behavioral responses of people of India, and not only India, subsequently it can be outside also, but to begin with, we'll look at the socio-behavioral aspects of this, how many people are actually using this and why they are using it. This kind of information will be very much useful for future research. Among this population-based study, we have another set of study, which is a very large-scale study for a medium risk population, such as police and drivers and other people who are coming in contact with red zone people, and for them to protect them, how Ayurveda can help. So Ministry of Ayush has created a protocol or a guideline as well as various advisories. So we are dividing documents into 3 different parts. One are advisories, second are guidelines. Guidelines are mostly for the practitioners, and third is the protocol. Protocols are actually for the purpose of researches. So all these 3 documents are getting ready, and there is a team of people under different working groups. So we have a working group in population-based studies in which top epidemiologists were involved, and they have given us a broad framework of methodology, because all of you would agree that it is very important when we are doing this study, data has to be very, very well collected. Not only collected, it has to be properly stored, retrieved, and analyzed. So there has to be uniformity. Otherwise, everybody starts working in different direction. Then all that effort may not lead to any meaningful or presentable conclusion. We are hoping that through this effort, we'll be able to come out with a very good scientific publications in high impact journals. We are planning with CSIR, we are planning clinical trial, controlled clinical trials on 4 identified drugs, and all these drugs have been shortlisted with help of Ayurveda experts, and all these drugs have a very good track record of immunomodulatory activity, and these drugs will be studied in randomized controlled trials at multiple centers. So there will be multiple multicentric studies, and the protocols have been prepared. They have been reviewed by all the experts. I must assure you that these protocols, once our first round of the clinical trials is on, these protocols will be available to any one of you, those who want to really do clinical trials in their own area on their own medicine. So generic protocols also we are going to prepare, and they will be available on the Ministry of Ayush website soon. Next part is these clinical trials. There are various types of clinical trials, and we decided that we must encourage COVID hospitals in India to undertake add-on treatment or adjunct treatment of Ayurvedic medicines at their clinic, because there is no access for many Ayurvedic people who are very enthusiastic and competent also to treat COVID patients, but they don't have access to COVID patients. COVID patients are there in defined hospitals, and for them, we are giving them through ministry a new scheme by which up to 10 lakhs of rupees research funding is going to be given to them, and they will be using this funding to do add-on therapy of Ayurveda in addition to standard of care, and the whole protocol and the data collection will be centrally done at the Ministry of Ayush. Then after this network of different clinical trials is over, we hope that a lot of good data will come, and not only Ayurvedic medicines, but the whole system Ayurveda approach. Also, we are taking upfront, and our team of experts have developed protocols both for whole system trials, for only Ayurveda treatment, for add-on treatment, and as prophylaxis. So at all levels, we are doing that. Then we are collaborating with Department of Biotechnology to undertake various kind of preclinical studies, and these preclinical studies essentially to understand mechanism of actions and other molecular mechanisms. So they are going to be including antiviral activity testing, and through DBT we have now access to antiviral activity testing, so we will be able to test various Ayurvedic drugs for their possible antiviral effect. Then we are also looking at nutritional products, Ayurveda Ahar, what we call it as. Most of them are Rasayan Dravyas such as Amlaki, Ashwagandha, Guduchi, Yashtimadu, and many other things. They are also used as drugs. So if they are going to be used as drugs, they will be looked at their prophylactic or clinical trial. If they are going to be used as food, they will be considered under Ayurvedic Ahar. So that component also has been prepared. So in short, I wanted to tell you that this is a major national effort in which we want all of you to join at one point of a time, because tomorrow onwards, slowly one by one, you will find that documents will start appearing on the Ministry of Ayush website, and these documents will help you to plan your own research in your own area. At the same time, keep uniformity at the central level as far as methodology is concerned, because methodology and data is most important in research. If we do that, we will get an opportunity to create a very good evidence. COVID is just an occasion, I would say. But because of this adverse occasion, there has been a very good spirit among the Ayush community, and a very good team has been started developing, and the capacity building for robust research has already begun. And I'm sure that with all of you on board, we'll be able to do much better and show real potential and strengths of Ayurveda by demonstrating actual benefits to the people. I thank Dr. Tanuja Nesri and team again for this opportunity, and I wish you all the best for this webinar. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, for all your comprehensive report about the what various initiatives the task force has initiated, starting from the research, standalone, add-on effect. And as you said, the tagline is there is always blessing in disguise, and lot has already started, we have started doing. And when you say that the team spirit, with the team spirit, and you are referred about as a population study, All India Institute under the umbrella of Ministry of Ayush, I just would like to say to all international audience that we have just started giving the prophylactic medicine to all Delhi police, 80,000 Delhi police, where we have covered all quarantine, containment zone, red zone, and all healthy people, where into team spirit everyone had joined hand. Uh, and we say that the corona se jang Delhi police ke sang. So I'm sure everyone, when join hands, the two spirit will definitely will be able to survive through this
Yeah,
storm.
we must give a very good clap to Dr. Tanuja in the team. You know, this is
Thank
with
you.
Delhi Police. It's a great beginning, and I'm sure a great data will come out, and people will benefit from that. All.
Yeah, and the documentation is the key word. We have taken that message from under your guidance, and it is our team head under which we are doing, and it is said that yojakas tatra durlabha. So the entire ministry, and we are blessed to have a visionary leader, a dynamic leader in the name of Vaidya Rajesh Kotejaji as our secretary. So may I request our secretary Vaidya Rajesh Kotejaji to address the national audience. We are eager to listen to your words of wisdom, sir.
Namaskar. Am I audible, Tanujaji?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Honorable Minister Sri Sripad Naik ji, our mentor, and the team Ayush, my colleagues in the ministry, the additional secretary, joint secretary, advisors, all directors of national institutes, including Professor Tanuja Nesri and all other national institutes.
So your voice is not audible.
Sir, you are not audible.
Yes, sir. You are not audible. Hello.
Tanuja ma'am, please speak for 2 minutes.
Yes, I'm sure secretary, there is some technical snag, but secretary will definitely join hands. And as
I have joined. I'm here again.
oh, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
There was some technical snag. So, but so to resume, I welcome all of you, and I want to compliment Tanuja ji for organizing such a wonderful event. And it's like an exchange of sharing of information and ideas and brainstorm, looking at this storm of COVID-19. And from the Government of India perspective, as mentioned by Professor Patwardhan ji, we are doing a lot of things under the able guidance and mentorship of our Honorable Minister. And a lot of things have happened. I want to begin with some good examples, like Professor Patwardhan ji mentioned, that we, as a serious effort, Government of India under the Ministry of Ayush, we are in the process of beginning of lot of different types of studies. So some good benchmarks are available with us, like in Gujarat, the government of Gujarat in their briefing, daily briefing a few days back, the Principal Secretary of Health in government of Gujarat, she mentioned that they did, it's not a scientific study, but it's an observation that on roughly 6,700 people having contacts with COVID patients, and they were in quarantine. And all of them did receive an intervention from Ayush, Ayurveda or homeopathy. And out of 6,700 plus people, only 13 people have later came out as a positive case, and all other were negative. So this is kind of, the impact which can be visible. I want to also mention that in India, from the beginning of the crisis, we have uh, ad- issued advisory for the general public time to time. We have also started working with the states for guiding them how to have an Ayush intervention into this crisis as a prophylaxis, as a immunity promotion, and all, of course, then visualizing in the areas of researches. But one thing that I want to mention with proud, that during this crisis, the,
Zoom meeting
uh, I request all of you to mute their mics so there is no disturbance. So I, I'm feeling proud about this mention that in India, Government of India has a massive effort of creating a pool of human resource to deal with this situation in the health area, because this is like the India example of dealing with the COVID-19 crisis is now cited across the world, because we have minimum numbers of the positive patients, we have minimum numbers of mortality uh, per million population. We have less than 1% of mortality. It is like only 0.07 something, as against very high into the particularly developed worlds. So this is like a kind of an example India has set to deal with such uh, pandemic, which nobody had an experience to deal with. So Ayush also has a contribution. We have a pool of human resource, and we call them Corona warriors. So these Corona warriors, more than 150,000 Ayush doctors and paramedics are deputed, are working in the field to help the all health facilities, to help streamline the quarantine and isolation facilities, and they are already working in the field, and they are all trained, and they are very proud that they are contributing their services for this noble cause. And we have a ready resource for another 200,000 people if required from Ayush. They are all also trained. So this is huge number, and I'm uh, I'm feeling very good to mention about that they are all ready. This is one thing. The another thing is, as mentioned by Bhushanji, that there is a lot of possibility. So to explore those possibilities, we also have started working on it. We have, Government of India have issued the immunity promotion advisory, self-care guidelines. So people can help themselves by simple remedies at home, like turmeric and milk, and like chavanprash, and like a herbal tea made from cinnamon and tulsi and ginger and those kind of things. So, and it was well received. It was more important that our Honorable Prime Minister have endorsed this advisory on his Twitter platform and on my GOV platform, and it was seen by more than uh, 300 million people. And also, in his address to the nation on 13th of April, when we had a second phase of lockdown declared, he mentioned, and he suggested all of the uh, people of the India to follow the guidelines of Ayush for immunity promotion. Also, he did again reiterated, uh, he has a monthly program of Man Ki Baat. Man Ki Baat means he comes on radio, and then he communicates with the people directly. It's like a very famous program of our Honorable Prime Minister, and then he through this he shares his mind, the thought process, and then his experience with the people. So in that program also, he mentioned about this advisory. He mentioned one very important thing. He said that Ayush, Ayurveda particularly, he said that like yoga spread all over the world, similarly, it is now time for the Ayurveda to be spread across the world, and it is only possible when we establish the evidences in the form of the language which rest of the world understands. And he said that I challenge the youth to deliver and to do more and more research in the area of Ayurveda. So we all felt proud about the mention of Ayush about the highest uh, position person, that is the Prime Minister of the country, during this crisis. So we also take this as a challenge and responsibility. Like Bhushanji said, Bhushanji Patwardhan mentioned about the different studies. But when I mentioned about the size of that sample size of the study, you will be really surprised that what we have fixed the target. Our target to look at this impact assessment of Ayush advisory and other Ayush modalities on the large scale population of India. We are visualizing to look at the sample size of 5 million people in India. Then we also have launched an application for that. This is already live, and on Android platform it is available, and in next 2 days it will be available on iOS platform also. This name of this application is Ayush Sanjeevani. So I will request all of you to look at that Ayush Sanjeevani application. This is our way to capture the real-time data of what happened after Ayush advisory. Did this advisory had any impact on the people's lives? And if there is an impact, what is this? So this is one area that we are looking at. Another area, like Bhushanji mentioned about prophylaxis study into the some candidates of Ayush intervention into different part of the country. Like Tanujaji mentioned about 80,000 police personnel, and her institute has given Shanshamani Bhatti and Anu Tail to all of these people, and they are all deployed in the field. And Delhi is one of the hotspot in a red zone, so Delhi has a lot of cases. So similarly, all over the country, we have big sample sizes. Our research institutes, our national institutes across the country, they are all being engaged into different such kind of similar study on different candidates. And all so many state governments are on board to look at that possibility. And we are visualizing that we'll have sample size of not less than 1 million people for this study. So it never happened into the history of Ayush sector. And as mentioned by our task force chairman, we are doing all these things very seriously and no compromise on the scientific vigor. So this is very important to get it to some logical outcome, and then having high impact publications into the world-class journals. But it's not only publication, to convert into the some solutions for the COVID. That is why like 4 candidates we have identified. These 4 candidates are also simple. There is nothing secret about that. One is ashwagandha, one is yasti madhu, that is Glycyrrhiza glabra, and Guduchi pipali or Ayush 64. So these 4 candidates we are working on, and the same 4 candidates we will be looking at our Department of Biotechnology laboratories about the mechanics and antiviral activity. I want to mention that the big agencies of Government of India, we are all come together. CSIR, the Scientific and Industrial Research Organization Council. This is this has laboratories all across the country, high-end laboratories. They have BSL-3 laboratory also. So they are also helping us. Department of Biotechnology is helping us. Department of Atomic Energy is helping us. So we are all working in cohesion with each other, and aggressively and focused with the focus on creating large-scale evidences. We are working really hard. And I'm also happy to inform that today only we have a meeting in the evening with ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. So probably they will also be on board, and then it will be like a big commitment of the nation to find some solution to deal with COVID-19 crisis. So I'm very happy to mention about all these developments, and I'm happy to be here. I also invite and all of you to mention and to share their experiences. Especially, I'm happy to see my friends from across the world. Like I am seeing Dr. Bera is here, and Dr. Morandiji is here, and my friends from different parts of the world. I met them several times, so they are here. So it's an opportunity for me to interact with them and to see them, to hear them. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary Ji, for your sharing all the initiatives, big initiatives Ministry of Ayush has done. You have not only mentored entire nation across and also across the globe for the clinical research and practice initiatives for the Ayush Ministry, Ayush sector to to combat this COVID crisis, but also you have shared the IT backbone in terms of Ayurveda Sanjeevani, and which is also linked maybe to the Arogya Setu app, which Savasot Karod Deshwasi they are able to download. So thank you very much, sir, for all your sharing and words of wisdom. And we will definitely like to join all your initiatives what Ministry of Ayush is taking under your able leadership. Now we are also blessed to have with us Sri Anurag Sharma ji, who is also a management leader from MIT Boston, and who is managing the business of Ayurveda industry and also representing the Ayurveda sector, Ayush sector in the parliament. So, parliamentarian, may I request Sri Anurag Sharma ji for his words of wisdom.
I missed Anurag ji's mention, so I apologize, Anurag ji. Thank you so much for your presence here, Anurag ji. Thank you.
Namaskar and Namaste to everyone. Namaste is the Indian greeting, which we are hoping is going to stop the spread of COVID. So please keep saying Namaste and avoid shaking hands. Pranam to the Ayush Mantri, Shripad Nayak ji, our very able and capable Secretary Ved Kuttecha ji, and the entire team of Ayush who's here today with us. Dr. Tanuja Nesri ma'am, Namaskar, and to Bhushan Patwardhan ji. You're all, it's wonderful to have this sort of conference happening. And I'm very pleased to see that so many people from across the world are taking interest in Indian science and Indian culture. Today, with the onslaught of the coronavirus, where no system of medicine has all the answers to this pandemic, we really need to look at all the systems working together. We are now seeing viruses come at us at a much faster rate. I know this is the third or fourth virus which seems to have happened in the last 10 years. And unfortunately, also these viruses keep to mutate a little more faster. So you have various strains of this happening. So I think today more than ever, and even for the future, we all need systems of medicines to work together. And no one single therapy across the world can really come back and say, this is the primary therapy. Because today when we have no answers, you have to look at every science which is available. Look at every piece of knowledge which we have in our arsenal to fight this menace. I think the best way is to take the best from all the systems across the world and to utilize it for the best of betterment of mankind and the environment. The only positive which I see today because of this entire lockdown across the world is that at least nature seems to be bouncing back. Certain pollution levels, at least in India, have come down tremendously. How long is this going to last? Are we just going to keep going back to the old ways of doing business? Are we going to keep back to the same way of abusing the environment? That is becoming a major issue. So I think we all need to work together. And this is a great clarion call to arms for all the people that come, join hands with us in India, join hands with Ayurveda, and we can help heal the world and take care of the environment simultaneously. See, the ancient Indian cultures have explained viruses before. And I think there is a great takeoff point for all of us to join from that point of view. And when I looked at Tanuja ji's speech today and what she was mentioning, had very, very valid points, how we can add and strengthen that. So I think India, if you really notice, we are not facing the onslaught as much, maybe because of various different reasons. The government of India has been more than proactive. They've issued advisories from time to time. Our Prime Minister has taken it as he's become a leader with this, in the forefront of this fight against COVID. So, Adharaniya Pradhan Mantri has gone across the nation. Virtually every individual he has gone and personally touched by his speeches, by his lectures, by his tweets, and the way he's explained it to India. So I think the Indians have been rising to the occasion, and we are trying to fight this. Today, when we look at Ayurveda, we realize that one of the most ancient sciences of the world. It's nearly 5,000 years old. It's documented, it's been proven, the efficacy proof is there, and it's been tested, tried across million years and generations. So if we can help Ayurveda regain its importance in this country, regain it by talking this language of modern science. And I'm so glad to have somebody like Bhushan Patwardhanji on board, heading the task force here. And sir, it was wonderful listening to you and to your thought process. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, when we do publish our research, we will be able to have it through all high impact journals across the world. I also represent the industry. And Tanuja Nesri, ma'am, small correction there. I didn't go to MIT as much as I would have loved to. I did go to Harvard and finish a course there. But that aside, I am also the chairman of the FICCI committee of the Ayush industry. And as the chairperson of the committee, we've been all banding together, so to speak, and trying our best to help fellow Indians. And I'm very pleased to announce this, that with AAAI, the industry has risen up to the challenge, and we are supplying over 80,000 kits as requested by All India Institute called Ayu Rakshak to the Delhi police. And we're hoping that great trials will happen here. And
hats off, Anuragji. Thank you. Hats off.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. I'm also very happy to say that my company today, Baidyanath, has accepted and will be supplying these kits to even the Indian Air Force. I'm also written to all the chief ministers, and we are all saying that the industry will support them in this endeavor, and at minimal cost, we will try and supply to the entire population as and when required.
I would like to applaud at this place, Anuragji, the industry proactiveness, what you have shown is really something remarkable, and that gives us also energy, industry academia interaction is happening and public is benefiting. So 80,000 police you are giving medicine is such a great service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patwardhan. We were also looking at not only the Indian Air Force, I'm looking at the populations in Madhya Pradesh, we're looking at the entire population of Gujarat, we're volunteering our services there also, and hopefully something good will come about. Apart from this, my company, Baidyanath, which I said is supplying to the Indian Air Force, we're also looking at trying to do our own trials, where I've roped in a university which is called Bundelkhand University in Jhansi. We're getting KPMG Lucknow, KPMU Lucknow, the medical college, getting the Gwalior Medical College and the Jhansi Medical College involved in these trials. We do have some COVID patients in Jhansi. We have a lot of quarantined people, which is about 5,000. We've been looking at them. We've helped create a BESL level 3 lab in a medical college in Jhansi. And like I said, our Prime Minister, in his address just a day before, did say that India has become the pharmacy to the world. So taking a cue from that, I am willing to put the Indian industry as health keepers to the world, and we'll supply health immunity kits wherever they are required across the world. So please do get in touch with us. It will be more than a pleasure and an honor to help you do your trials there. And if you want kits in bulk, we will try and supply them at a cost to you. I will put up my email ID and the FICCI one, so you can get in touch with us. The industry is collaborating today, and we are hoping that at the end of this very tiresome, unfortunate pandemic across the world, the world comes out of it as a much more healthier and a better place. Today, as far as exports are concerned, I think India has been trying to catch up, especially the Ayush sector. India now ranks as the second largest exporter of medicinal plants after China. Although our share of the medicinal plant market is still small, but we are now working with universities. I'm very happy to announce this to all the foreign delegates who are here, that a lot of our agricultural universities are also working on plant-based material. We're trying to improve the quality of the bioactives inside the plant-based material. We're trying to improve the micronutrients in the material. And I've already started work again, Maharani Lakshmibai Agricultural University. Hope to see some results in the next couple of months down the road. The Indian Ayurveda industry has, of course, contributed largely to this. And especially thanks again to the Prime Minister and the Minister Ayush and Ved Kutecha ji. We not only celebrate World Yoga Day, we are hoping to celebrate from now onwards a World Ayurveda Day, which has already been announced, and utilize all our embassies, all our consulates to promote World Ayurveda Day as a day for health and a day for healing for the entire world at large. Please let me know if I can be of any service. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir. Your words and your proactive support as a representative of industry, that will definitely give a healing touch to all the physicians and academicians, and really we are thankful for your support. And the tagline what you said is like the future of the medicine is integration, and it is integration with all the healing pathis, but also with the industry academia collaboration, and also collaboration with basic science and applied science, and integration with all the partners across the globe. Thank you very much for your support, especially to All India Institute of Ayurveda, and also to the other sectors within India and across India. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And now may I request the head of the Ayush family, our mentor, Honorable Union Minister of State, Minister of Ayush, Ministry of Ayush, Sri Sripad Yashonaiji, for your presidential address. Please bless us and please address the gathering about what are the initiatives. And one things which I would like to share to the international audience is, sir is a Rakshakon ki Raksha, because the frontline warriors in India are the doctors and the military forces and the police forces. And our minister is the minister for both, for the defense also and for Ministry of Ayush also. So may I request our Honorable Minister for his words of wisdom. Please address the gathering, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Honorable Anurag Sharma ji, a member of Parliament from Jhansi. Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, Secretary Ayush. Madam Tanuja Nesri ji, Director of All India Institute of Ayurveda. Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan ji, Chairman of our task force. All other speakers also who joined this webinar. Friends, since the beginning of this women's civilization, there has been a quest to find the way and means to maintain the positive state of health. Today, a global pandemic has emerged as a challenge for humanity to maintain its existence itself due to the novel coronavirus today. Here, the more than 200 countries are affected by the pandemic so far, and more than 35 lakhs people have been infected worldwide, and more than 250,000 people have died globally. It is clear now from this situation that today we all have a common enemy, and it is a tiny virus which we can't even see with our naked eyes. The great power of world which are equipped with the best healthcare facilities are looking helpless in front of this tiny virus. The situation is very terrible and hazardous, but even in the darkness of despair, we have to keep the lamp of our hope and courage illuminated. Today, in this pandemic situation, India is emerging as a Vishwa Guru. In this pandemic, India is extending helping hand to the other nations and setting an example of a great warrior against the fight with this pandemic, definitely by the effective control of spread of this deadly disease. The integration of modern medical science with the age old of this time-tested Ayush system, namely Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy medicines, treatment measures, and lifestyle guidelines are playing a significant role in the effective control and management of the COVID-19 by its holistic approach. In this integrated approach, where modern medicine is fighting against the corona on one front, the Ayush system is working hand in hand in strengthening the fight against the coronavirus, particularly by boosting the immunity and helping to preserve on one side. It has become imperative to plan an integrated approach for its prevention, prophylaxis, and management, which could be adopted globally for the benefit of the mankind and to serve the humanity. This is the need of the hour that we all join hands to combat the situation and come up with some common consensus. The Ministry of Ayush and the institution like All India Institute of Ayurveda and other Ayurveda national institutes are playing their active role by initiating the research project. Organizing an international webinar is also a humble effort in this direction. It's a matter of pleasure to know that for this webinar, around 16 countries and various MOUs partner of All India Institute of Ayurveda have come together on a common platform to brainstorming and come out with some concrete solutions. It is also heartening to know that all national and technical institutions pertaining to Ayurveda like IPGTRNA Jamnagar, National Institute of Ayurveda Jaipur, Leh in Shillong, Faculty of Ayurveda, Banaras Hindu University, Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapit, National Medicine Plant Board, Research Council, that is CCRS, Academic Council, CCIM, etc. Director of all these institutes across the nation has gathered today for the discussion along with the other institutes like NASYA, Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Association of Ayurveda Practitioners and Arogya Bharati, etc. I'm also glad to know that this event is live through the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages of All India Institute of Ayurveda as well as the of Ayush Ministry, and is being witnessed by the students, scholars, faculty, practitioners, and researchers in the medical field across the world. I congratulate All India Institute of Ayurveda for organizing this important event timely. I welcome and congratulate the representative institutes from different countries who are partners in this webinar, namely Italy, Germany, UK, USA, Japan, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, Mauritius, Malaysia, High Commission of India, and embassies like German Embassy, and thousands of viewers on social media like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter from the different countries across the globe. I'm sure that these activities of Ministry of Ayush, All India Institute of Ayurveda, National Institutes, the MOU partners of the All India Institute of Ayurveda and outcome of various researchers conducted in this direction will definitely provide a way ahead for successful prevention and management of COVID-19 with minimum fatality. With these words, I Once again, thanks all of you, organizer and the speaker, that we have to go ahead with our total force, whatever we have the facilities and other this thing in this pandemic to resolve all this problem. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Jai Ayurveda.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Thank you very much for your encouraging words. For all the small activities everyone is doing have inspired us to work more for the cause for what we are all gathered together. Thank you once again, sir,
Thank
for your blessings. We are honored that you have spared your valuable time to be with us. So thank you, and all the international now moving to the international panelists and the speakers, and we are really eager to know your experiences, all our friends and the partners. And Honorable Minister, sir, we are really honored that you have spared your time to listen to the experience of all our international speakers and the panelists. And in this row, as we know that Italy really had a disaster, and within 2 months, Italy has come out with a very good solution, and the curve is now flattened. So, what the Italy did, and whether the traditional medicine like Ayurveda was really helpful to come out with the situation, we would like to know from the Antonio Morandi, and I'm really happy to share with the international audience that he is not Antonio Morandi now, he is a Ishwar Morandi from the Point Institution from Milan. May I request Dr. Antonio Ishwar Morandi from Milano to share, from Italy, to share his experience and the words and your message, Dr. Morandi, please. He is a conventional medical scientist, neurologist, but he always speaks in a language of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Dr. Morandi, please.
Namaskar to everyone, and thank you very much, Professor Tanuja Nezari, for inviting me, and Honorable Minister Shripad Naik, and Vaidya Professor Kotecha ji, and Professor Bhushan Patwardhan ji, and thank you very much, and to all the friends that are with us now. Now, the situation in Italy now is improving, but it has been, as you said, a real disaster. Fortunately, the measures that have been taken by the government have been very strict and very timely, so that the lockdown, has given very good results. But still, we are having a very peculiar part of Italy, some region in the north, which are still affected, not much, but they are still affected. And this is something that is very interesting from an Ayurvedic point of view, because if we look at the virus and the COVID, which is the syndrome that derives from the virus, so we see that it has a very Ujna and Ruksha nature, and the weather, the environment, and also the system in those regions which are most affected by the COVID are very Ujna and Ruksha, because of the pollution, because of the environmental pollution like electromagnetic, because of this lifestyle, because of many things. And so what? So Ayurveda could have been of great help in Italy. It could have been of great help to all modern medicine all over the world if it would have been considered. But I can speak for Italy, but I'm sure that it's the same everywhere. I mean, we have other colleagues that we will speak about. But Ayurveda is not taken in consideration at all. But the worst part is not taken in consideration Ayurveda, but the concept of personal immunity. The general rule now in Italy and in the Western world is that we have to find a medicine. We have to find a vaccine. If you have a medicine, if you have a vaccine, you don't need to be strong. And this is very dangerous. I mean, Ayurveda can give a huge help to the population, not only because, of course, with observation and the logic of Ayurveda can give direct and very straightforward information to modern medicine on how to act, where to look for what they are looking for. If you look at the coronavirus from a guna perspective, you have a lot of information that, for example, the guna information that are available, they were already giving you the possibility of intravascular coagulation. The disseminated intravascular coagulation. It was already there if you were looking from an Ayurvedic point of view. But this was not possible. So in this occasion, I'm really asking that the Indian government, along with the WHO, should really advocate the traditional medicine in other government, because the government all in Italy, but I'm sure in Europe, they are looking only for medicine and vaccine, not how to avoid, for example, the next pandemic, or how to strengthen the immunity of the people. And so I think that besides the effort that we as an institution we can do, or as a personal personal effort we can make, I think that is a very important high level political effort to give trust to traditional medicines, to give trust to traditional medicine, because we are not considered at all now. Normally there is some kind of consideration. Yes, it can be good, it can be bad, but in this moment of crisis, everything that is not conventional medicine is cut off. We cannot even speak about, because and even if you look in the website of the Italian Ministry of Health, there is a section against fake news for the people, how to recognize a fake news, and there are two items which are very, very provocative for me. That one says that Ayurvedic treatments are not useful for prevention of COVID-19, and that yoga is not of any use of prevention of COVID-19, because there are not scientific studies. I mean, of course, there are not scientific studies, so they are right. But the way they put the information, they give a wrong idea to the population about what the traditional medicine can do, what Ayurveda, what yoga can do. And I know that we have a very little time, so I want to say another thing. That is one initiative that we are doing. We are taking as an Ayurvedic point with all our doctors, students, doctors, and a doctor that are part of the teaching staff. We are elaborating a study in, actually, we are elaborating a database to collect the information of guna patients according to the guna logic. And with an algorithm, we are interfacing this guna logic with the observation from conventional medicines in such a way that we are able to provide a face-to-face demonstration on how good can be a guna observation for modern medicine. Because a modern medicine and Ayurveda, I really believe they can work together. It's years that we are speaking about collaborative medicine and science for these reasons. And this study with all our students, with all our teachers and doctors, we are bringing on. And as soon that this database is validated, we will share with everyone. We have already more than 100 cases and we are validating with this. And because I think that our goal should be to find a way to interface the two systems of knowledge. We are not one against the other, but we have to find a way. Otherwise, you know, in the West, especially in the crisis moment, we are completely cut off. And with this, I know that we have very few minutes, so I stop and I thank you, everyone. And it's so beautiful to see you even in a virtual mode, but I'm so happy. Thank you.
Dr. Morandi, for speaking in terms of Guna theory as Ushna and Ruksha, and the efforts what the government should take for the international perspective. And in response to your Guna theory about COVID-19, Ushna and Ruksha, whether Snigdha and Shita will be really useful, or is there any something scientific aspects to be shared? So may I request Guru Nam Guru, our mentor and teacher, Professor Madhav Singh Baghel, to throw some light on scientific aspects of COVID-19 according to Ayurveda. Baghel sir, please.
Namaskar. First, I congratulate our Honorable Secretary, Honorable Minister, and our Honorable Prime Minister for the endorsement of Ayurveda in a more intensive way. Friends, for a new disease like COVID-19, Ayurveda has a well-designed protocol how to understand the disease, how the decide the various components of the disease. The Charak has given at the three places very intensive protocol. First, in the Prameh chapter, Nidanasthan, they have given that we require to know regarding the Nidana, Dosh and Dushya for the treatment of the disease, which has been previously also elaborated in 19th chapter, that if you don't know the name, if you cannot name the disease, at least you should know the Vikar Prakriti, Adhishthan and Samuthan of the disease, which has been further elaborated in the Viman Sthan, that you have to know the various components of the disease, that is Evam Naman, Evam Rupan, etc. So, without rushing to the compare the modern symptoms with the Ayurveda, we should understand the disease in a proper way. As everybody is talking about this disease, that it is a Janpadodhvansa. Friends, Janpadodhvansa is a thing which we can call it a societal collapse. And this societal collapse occurs due to the blasphemy or adharma of the society. And this leads to the severe pollution of the water, air, which leads to the pollution of the...
बघेल सर के बाद तनुजा मैम वापस जाएंगी लाइव, उसके बाद उन्हीं का नंबर आएगा और वो मुझे अभी दिख नहीं रहे, उन्होंने ज्वाइन नहीं किया, मैं उनको मैंने उनको रिमूव कर दिया है. I'm removing it. So the Janpadodhvans should be understood in more compact way, that though there are 230,000 viruses in the different zoonotic areas, but many times they come to the human due to this adharma and leads to the infection of the various diseases. So if we start to understanding the various components of this disease, so this disease is obsargic in nature, and it is asukari, and it is a janpadodhansik, and it is difficult to cure if it reaches to the certain extent. It comes by the infection, which has been very well described in Ayurveda. Even the Susruta says that this type of the syndrome can occur without the malfunctioning of the seasonal things. So these all things to be taken into the account, because there are the three primary factors for the treatment. To design a treatment protocol, there are the three components.
Nidan, Parivarjan, Apakarshan, and Prakriti Vihar. So first we should know the Nidan, and Nidan is here the adharma, non-following the society rules, and which creates the pollution, which is also leading to the killing of the animals, eating of the meat of the animals which are not, and this all leads to the pollution of the various things, and these animals come to the human areas. Secondarily, there are the various uh, food habits which are gradually causing the damage to the our this immunity, and which leads to the infection. But fortunately, friends, if you see, now the paper is out that only 9% of the COVID patients are known as the super infectious patients, and remaining patients have the immunity to contain that. So in this disease, if you have to analyze further, you can get the Purva like distaste and anosmia, low-grade fever to sore throat to sneezing, which may further progress to the distaste, loss of appetite, and leading to the weakness, nausea, and vomiting. And this Purva may continue in the secondary stage of the Rupa, and Rupa is the usually starts with the fever. Slowly now virus is changing the position, and in the China initially it was reported to 83 to 99% persons were reporting with fever. Now in India, nearly only 55% patients are reporting with fever. So be careful. This disease may come with the various symptoms. Now Ayurveda has a concept of the diseases progressing from one disease to other disease. So here Jwar may be initially diagnosed, or the Sannipatik Pratisthya may be diagnosed, and Pratisthya leads to the Kas leads to the Swas, and which is a Vatic type of the Swas. Then Swas, if is not controlled, it may lead to the Mahasrotas, and that Mahasrotas involvement leads to the various complications, maybe failure of the kidney, maybe failure of the other organs. So friends, with this, if we consider the various components of the disease required for the samprapti, uh, we know that primary dose is Vat, and secondary due to Sthani, with the local presence, it is a Kapha, and always followed by the Pitta, and Pitta this leads in complicated conditions for the Rakta Dushti. Here the Srotas is usually the Rasva Srotas, along with Svedva Srotas, then Pranva Srotas, and other Srotas which are secondarily involved, that is Raktava Srotas and Mahasrotas. So these are the various things, and the design for the treatment for these areas is to be done. If the word used by Charak is Udark, complications, and loss of WBC, renal failure, and acute respiratory syndrome disease, and which leads to the orthopnea and loss of the higher faculty like confusion and difficulty in walking. When after deciding these factors, if we go to the Chikitsa, forming the Chikitsa Sutra, so being the Ras, the main Dushya, we have to do the Ama Vat Chikitsa, and Svedva Srotas is involved, so Jwarvat Chikitsa is to be given. Pranva Srotas is involved, so the Swaski Chikitsa is to be given. So these are the three main factors which are to be considered. Friends, be careful. These medicines which are being tried at present, and we are proposing from the task force to be tried, this looking to the legal situations and the mindset of the modern so-called scientists, so-called, I say because so-called, and they have say one thing one day and then another day they have to refute their own things next day. But Ayurveda, whatever says, so whenever the condition comes for the standalone treatment, we have to decide these all factors and we have to plan a treatment protocol which will be covering all the aspects of diseases. Then only we can treat the disease. Giving the some uh, immune boosting drugs and some drugs which are good for the respiratory system may be good for the some basic level. But for the treatment of the disease at the standalone, and for which Ayurveda is very useful and it can help a lot, we have to plan the whole system treatment protocol which will be useful in this regard. So friends, I want to attract your draw your attention that Ayurveda should be used as a system, not as a drug. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for all the giving the scientific aspects what Ayurveda thinks and says about the Nidan, Tattva, Shastra and Vyavhar, Nidan and the Chikitsa of COVID-19. And we really are blessed and honored that saying that it is not only prophylaxis and immune boosting what Ayurveda offers to entire mankind, but it is a whole system treatment protocol which Ayurveda can give for as a standalone and not only as an add-on but standalone treatment for the management of COVID. Thank you very much, sir. And now coming to our friends, Mark and Christine Rosenberg, who are running the European Academy of Ayurveda for more than 25 years, even though they are not doctors. And Mark, he mentioned in the email that please remove my word doctor from Mark and Christine Rosenberg. But I'm really happy to share that even though they are not doctors, but their academy has produced more than 500 Ayurveda doctors in European countries. So my friend Mark, followed by Christine Rosenberg, please share your experiences about the experience of COVID-19 and what your academy and Ayurveda is doing as a part of integration for the management of COVID in Germany, please. Thank you. Mark and Christine.
Yes. Namaste all together.
Namaste.
Great to share our experience here from the country in Europe, from Germany. Yes, these are very special times. They are times, those are really shaking us, but also giving us the possibility to see the world and our human being in a new perspective. And we are using that really here in Germany. And give you an overview from some facts. So, because you have asked us to also give some country report. So I have noted some numbers. There are 166,000 infected persons in Germany now. That is the same number, nearly like in France, for instance. And there are about 7,000 people. Those have found dead in that times. And actually, when you compare it, for instance, with the country of France, then this is only 20%. So we are somehow in a lucky position, thanks to our health system and of good numbers of intensive care units. We had the pleasure that the disease could be managed quite okay in perspective of our neighborhood. So we feel that Ayurveda is a very important aspect for the management and the prevention of COVID-19. Yes, definitely. And we are getting many questions. How could Ayurveda help? We have shared the different recommendations from the Ministry of Ayush and have spread it through our different associations and the new umbrella associations the Advait in here in Germany. And we found that the interest is really high. What can Ayurveda do for us? How can Ayurveda help us in these special times? And we also had the situation that all the Ayurvedic medical units, the hospitals, the special treatment centers had to close. So also our treatment center is now closed for nearly 2 months. And this is a very special situation. On the other side, the school is running and is also running well, because this is the information point here in Germany. People are really asking us, how can Ayurveda help? How can they learn more about prevention in a natural way? Because everybody understood, or let me say more and more people understood, that it's not enough to treat the symptoms, to manage the symptoms. It is more important to think about the further prevention and to boost our immune system. And people realize that Ayurveda is a system that could help. And I see India as a country that gives a great example how modern medicine and traditional medicine could work together. And the beauty of India is that these multi aspects of medicine are there in your country, working side by side. And many people here in Germany are looking to India. How do they manage it now? How do they use Ayurveda in this context nowadays? And we are looking for these examples, and they are coming up more and more. One example is this wonderful conference. And this is really the new way how to discuss and to move forward in these days, because we know that prevention is very important for the days to come. And Ayurveda will have a great word to say and will have a fantastic and very successful contribution. We feel that and we see that. And I spoke about the academy, that people really asking for health education. And this is the new aspect that we found that is coming up much. People asking to get educated in how to manage a better lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. And through that, we have really modernized our whole didactic into the modern Zoom technologies and webinar technologies. But furthermore, we also have shared new e-training programs, and people are really asking for that in great numbers. So on that side, we feel that COVID-19 in these special times are also helping to spread the message of Ayurveda. Right. So on my side, my wife, Kerstin Rosenberg, and she also had, special impressions for these times. Kerstin.
Yes, I'm speaking much with my students, with my patients. We are very active with webinars or also with web consultations. And all the people say, I'm feeling well. I have more time for myself. I have more time for cooking at home. I have not so much work, because here in Germany, we have a very comfortable situation. 60% of people are not working but get money from the state, so they have really they have the feeling like holiday. And we have not so much trouble with this corona patients. So Germany, the people have the feeling it is fine, and we have stress, of course, with business things, but it is not so stressful atmosphere in Germany. And my students say to me, now I have time to live Ayurveda in my home every day. I'm happy.
Right. To manage COVID-19, nutrition is a very important aspect.
Yeah.
And I know that you're talking with your students much about the nutritional aspect.
Yes.
And how to stable the immune system. And Kerstin, what have you found that, what is an important aspect that you share now with our students?
I think our students now have they have the feeling, of course, I can do much for myself with nutrition, with herbs, with yoga, but the society is very, very important, and we are really missing to stay together, to talk together, to meet our family, because now here everybody is staying at home alone. Our parents are alone in their home, And so this is very difficult in our society, that we know for health, to feeling healthy, we need our family, we need our friend, we need all to stay together. This now it's forbidden, and this is really a problem.
Yes, and we see that, to sum up, we see that the interest in Ayurveda here in Germany is higher than before.
Yes.
We also recognize that there are many tips also coming from India. There's a huge diversity in the recommendations. Actually, every day I feel that there's a new plant, there's a new remedy that gets recommended, that it is very helpful in these times. And one feeling from my side is that now in the Ayurvedic community, we really have to focus on several elements, not to, to come up with so many new things, because it gives the impression that nearly everything helps somehow, but we have to be precise. We have to be very clear. And for Europe, we need a scientific base behind it. So on that side, I think to see that the All India Institute of Ayurveda and the Ministry of Ayurveda is taking guidance and is rooting these discussion now is very helpful also for us to share the value of Ayurveda here in the European countries. So thank you very much for being with you. Thanks, and bless you all.
Thank you. And in this era of physical distance, you are keeping together, all together. Thank you, Mark and Christine, and seeing you together as a institution. It's really always feels happy and glad to join with you together. And Christine, your message to the entire world is the health is individual responsibility, and that's what Ayurveda says. That's Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshan. It is not the doctor, but it is a personal participation that keeps us healthy. And through your e-learning model, you are really communicating to entire world in the West for the health, staying together and healthy oneself, how to be healthy oneself with the help of Ayurveda. So we salute to you, and we are thankful that you have joined today by sharing your experience of e-learning module. Thank you for joining, and keep joining. Stay with us, and we say everyone stay healthy and stay with us, because many more addition and experiences we are waiting to know more from our other friends also. And now we have a GP. GP is a different term in United Kingdom. In UK, in London, it is a national agency, health agency, NHS under, and we are really happy, like European Academy of Ayurveda is our partner, UK College of Medicine and Prince Charles Foundation are our partners, and Dr. Amit Bhargav, who is a GP, and he has something to say about how we improve the host mechanism through Ayurveda and how we integrate the Ayurveda in NHS model in UK, and how we take it through High Commission of India, through NHS model, how the Ayurveda can be taken further in the conventional medicine, and especially in COVID-19, how can we improve the host mechanism. Dr. Amit Bhargav, please.
Thank you, Dr. Nisari, Professor Nisari, and it's thank you for the invitation. It's a great privilege and honor to be part of this discussion. As you said, I'm a general practitioner, family medicine, so I've been doing that for about 30 years now, and medical director for the Ayush project with the College of Medicine. So it's a great privilege to be here, and I completely agree with what Mark and Kirsten said. What is happening in Germany is very similar to what's happening in the UK in how we're dealing with this, but we have much higher morbidity and mortality. And of course, it is a global challenge, but it has a huge number of sufferings for in communities and individuals. And what the College of Medicine is about is an integrative college, which means that and it is led by mainly clinicians, senior clinicians who have had national and international roles in developing policy, thought leadership, and also in implementation. So it's a virtual college. We don't have a building, but we have a number of enthusiastic people who drive this tradition. So what is integrative medicine doing is bringing standard Western medicine alongside complementary care and supported self-care for the patients. And the complementary care we've been doing for many years. It is around wisdom-based traditions, Greek, Indian, Chinese, and others. We have embraced those to see where they have value for Western populations to improve their health and well-being. And we're very fortunate to have Prince Charles, HRH, Prince Charles, to be our patron. And he's been very interested in this project we're doing and has been the instigator, in many ways, promoter, and along with Prime Minister Modi, has been championing a project which Professor Nisari and I have been working on jointly on something called Ayurvedic. And where we are with what is Ayurvedic, it was to mainstream, give the population of the UK, in the UK, every citizen has to register with a general practitioner, and their course of treatment is directed through a general practitioner, and they come to us for advice and for treatments. So what we wanted to do was to bring the value of yoga and Ayurveda especially at this point in this conversation, which is evidence-based for therapeutic purposes, to that population. And we were due to launch a proof of concept project working with general practitioners in a population in West London in April, but with the COVID-19, all that had to be boxed for the moment. But we learned a number of many important things, and with Professor Nisari's visit to the UK, we were able to consolidate what we were going to do. And for Ayurveda, one of the things that we decided was, although Ayurveda has a presence in the UK with many practitioners, it doesn't have visibility and general usage in an evidence methodical way. So we created a subcommittee under the college called for Ayurveda, brought in the lead providers and to work with us to translate the value of Ayurveda as a system, not just a drug, into something which is usable. So the Association of Professional Ayurvedic Practitioners, the president of it, and another Ayurvedic practitioner who's a co-founder of Pakatis, if you know them, are chairing that to bring together the practices and translating them to something which is culturally sensitive and usable. So that was what we were doing. But what is very interesting for us is that in the previous conversations by the various luminaries who talked before me, was that the evidence that has been created in India to validate some of the treatments through population-based studies and translate them into a research project, and we can see the outcomes. And those outcomes for us in the UK would be applying them for populations that use that research base, which has to be solid and rigorous. As we are seeing in the West, the COVID is creating the rigorous research projects. So how does that fit in with the wellness side? So we've all been, at the moment, doing the pathogenic side, whether it is for immunization or treatments, but we also need to look at the salutogenic side, which is around the wellness side. And how does Ayurveda promote the salutogenic practices? In my general practice of 10,000 patients, we are very salutogenic practice. Of course, we have to do the pathogens to treat the patients, but we are also promoting wellness. And the Ayurvedic principles and yoga principles I have noticed in my own practice with my patients as a practicing clinician is they are very willing to accept that. So but they would only accept it if it is safe and applicable to their lives, and it is the medication they get or the advice we give them is able to be translated into their lives. So that's what we've been working with Professor Nisari, is how do we translate the pure principles of Ayurveda into something which is applicable in the West. And my patients will understand in English, not just the ones who are interested in the Indian philosophy and sciences, but the general person who works, who my plumber, my electrician, or the bus driver can also use those principles. And that is what we have. Like Germany, we have registered populations, and as a clinician, I have huge, and my other clinicians have huge influence in how our patients behave and what they do. So we have to use that opportunity, but also accept that we have huge responsibility to give them the right advice. And so we are translating that the experiential, traditional-based, outcome-based work that Ayurveda and yoga and other traditions bring, wisdom traditions bring, into something which is English in our state. So what are we doing in the future? The future is about, so we were doing the proof of concept, do the general practitioners and patients accept, and we got to a point where we were having very useful and interesting conversations with our GP practitioners, and they were accepting, and not just the ones who had interest in this area, but a general GP, a normal everyday GP. As a number of my Western colleagues would understand, that there is huge, they're not all clinicians in the West take in traditional medicine in the way that we would like them to. So there is this opportunity. So we were going, that was the phase one. The phase two was to take it to other parts of the country, try out more and more interesting and different aspects of Ayurveda into different populations in Scotland, west of England, east of England. And then phase three would happen would be more. So what Corona does for us is focus, as my colleagues have said, not on the pathogen, but on the host strength. And that is what we want to do using lifestyle, nutrition, and some additives, and the simple things that we were advised on, drinking warm water through the day, etc. Does it make a difference? And the study that Professor Nisari is heading on the 80,000 policemen would give us value in people who are in the front line, like doctors, cleaners, receptionists, etc., and policemen. If they use Ayurvedic advice, would their immunity get better? So it's an important question for us to answer, but that is where we're going, phase one, phase two, phase three of this project. And we want to accelerate the phase two and phase three as soon as we can, with some evidence that's coming out from India, and that will help us test that. So as College of Medicine, as the council, as the medical director, and as a clinician, I'm very excited by the opportunity here and would like to see how we can interact much more fully with the Ayush Ministry and yourselves to create a plan which is much more blended with the standard medicine and complementary medicine, especially Ayurveda, that we have as an offer to our patients. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amit, for joining with us. And also, we really salute to your concept of salutogenesis, which is a true Ayurveda. As a prevention is a strength, and we really have a strength in keeping everyone as a healthy and happy. So we really look forward for meaningful collaboration, as we have a collaboration with our other partners. You are also a very strong partner, and please give our message and all our well wishes to HRS Prince Charles also, and Michael Dixon and Health High Commission of India. I'm sure their representatives are here with us.
Can I just add to that, Professor Nisari, that this project has been discussed with HRH and Prime Minister Modi a number of times, and what we are doing in the UK is important to HRH. He's very keen on this project. Thank you very much.
Your voice is not. You have to demute, madam.
Yeah. as Ministry of Ayush is also very keen to take this project off, and we are ready to take off. And maybe after a period of lockdown, we will take this off. Thank you. Representing UK College of Medicine, Dr. Bhargav. And now we have from the Europe side, we had the words of experience and wisdom from our friends, old friends and the partners. And now from Latin America, who is also really keen to have uh, adding many green wealth and the word wisdom and also bitters and all haldi, neem, tulsi and many more plants from the Argentina. Our friend always tell Dr. George Vera that there are many plants and the flora and fauna is similar to India, and we can really offer a lot to the entire world and into the citizens of Latin America. So may I request Dr. Bera to share his experience. It may be same or it may be new, but we are really eager to listen to your words, Dr. Bera, please. Thank you for joining with us.
Hello, Dr. Tanusha. My regards to you, to Dr. Manoush, to Dr. Bagel, Anup, both Mark and Kerstin, Antonio, and all our friends from 2 or 3 decades working in India with Ayurveda. May I share my screen? And okay. What we have done in our country with this COVID-19, we are in our 7th week of lockdown. At the beginning, it was at this moment, it was supposed that we will have 800,000 cases of COVID, and right now we have only almost 5,000 cases, and this is due to the severe lockdown, which was very helpful to slow down the curve of contagion. At the beginning, it was the duplication of the cases. It was almost every 3.3 days, and right now is almost every 20 days it requires to duplicate the cases. This is very good for the slow down the contagion, but this is also has been producing some mental consequences. We have shared the Ayush recommendation, both what have been doing from Dr. Kotecha and from Prime Minister of India to our Secretary of Access to Health, Dr. Carla Bisotti. She is a long friend of us and has been related with Ayurveda from several years. And we have provided them all the recommendations from Ayush in order to improve the immunity. Also, we have provided these recommendations to the members of the Presidential Advisory Committee in order to know if they could use these recommendations for the contacts of the patients, for the betterment of the patients, or for all the community in our country. And we are waiting their reply. And we have been also sharing this recommendation to doctors involved in the front line, treating patients in several institutions, how to treat the patients and how to prevent them to be in problems. We are related, we have been involved in the academic world for the last 20 years. And this year, we are going fully online. This in the inauguration of our 21st annual course of Ayurvedic medicine. As usual, we have the presence of the Indian ambassador, this Sri Dinesh Bhatia. She is very friend of Dr. Rajesh Kotecha. And it was astonished because all the people has been very moved. And, you know, we think that in order to teach Ayurveda, we must face each one to be in close contact. But this virtual experience has been very useful for the introduction of Ayurveda to new doctors and also to open their hearts to this new methodology. And one very important thing is that every day more doctors are being interested in Ayurveda because they know that they must look for other tools in order to treat the patients and to be for their own health. We also are working with a community, and we have been doing daily streaming on Facebook, sharing the Ayurvedic recommendations on diet, meditation, yoga, pranayama, and the use of our local medicinal plants also. These streamings are being followed every day by several thousand people. And you know that I mentioned that the severe lockdown and the people are feeling alone, and then all of them wait for these moments in order to be together and to have other options and to improve their minds, their well-being, to slow their mental stress, and to have other visions of where we are going. Then it's from the Ayurvedic community of South of India. Dr. Bhushan and some of the other doctors have mentioned, we must show in our medical communities the results of the Ayurvedic protocols that are being carried out in India. And then we think that, we know that in order to produce one article for one journal, it will require some time, but perhaps brief communications of results from integral Ayurvedic protocols could be quickly reported through the Ministry of Ayush website, and Dr. Bhushan Patwan has mentioned that it will be done. Also, and this, I want to stress this point, that there are a lot of medicinal plants which are available only in India and are not available in other regions of the world, or are not approved to be used in other regions of the world. Then it's important, if in the case of working with medicines, to include also single medicinal plants that could be used in other places. For example, that could be with Yastimadu or licorice in our country. And also, it's important to join hands and to carry out international Ayurvedic multi-center studies with the participation and the encouragement from the Ministry of Ayush. Right now, the other countries are open if the official participation of Ministry of Ayush are present in this situation. And I want to share our views that all of us knew about the butterfly effect. And we know 4 months ago, one person eats something strange, and in 4 months, 4 million people are now in complete lockdown. Then with this situation, all of us, we are looking at what has happened, what are we doing, and there are one saying from India, instead of going outside, going inside. And this is what is happening with all the people. And then we must check who are we. That's a very important and fundamental question of our life related with this. How do we eat? And we know that likely the cause of this severe pandemic is some adharmic style that has been mentioned by Dr. Bagel. How to be healthy, and we will be healthy with one vaccine, with one pill, or we will be healthy from our inner self, being taking care of all our own resources. And very important, which are our life's values. And this point is very clear in the Vedas, which are our most important values. Our real value is to know who are we, and not to have much more money or to disrupt the balance of nature. And this is the last point. What are we doing with nature? And I don't know what will be the answer to these questions, depending on which will be the answer. Perhaps we could have like Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, a world that no one of us will want, or other worlds in which, for example, all the goals from the United Nations and WHO will be accomplished. And for this, we need to join hands, to join hearts, and to join heads in this purpose. And Ayurveda, as it has been mentioned by the All India Institute of Ayurveda, could be the shelter to look for this answer. I pray that all of us will be healthy, all the audience will be healthy, and that all take care of us, and we will make Ayurveda available for all the world. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bera, for your very, very crisp, clear, and eye-opening presentation. That's really a message to all of us. And we can say with pride that you have provided shelter to Ayurveda and for many people in Argentina. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for your words of wisdom and your experience and the future of Ayurveda. It's a message of one health. We have to take health of environment, health of animals, health of plants, so that they will take care of our health. And
That's
I
true.
just would like to share that Dr. Bera is a pediatrician by profession, and he's taking care of the vulnerable population also. So thank you for that, Dr. Bera, for joining with us. And now coming in a row, because we have the friends across the globe, they are eager to share their experiences. And now coming to the Australia, because recently we had signed under this umbrella of ministry and direction of Ministry of Ayush, we had signed the MOU with the Sydney University, Western UK, Western West Sydney Westminster, Western Sydney University from Australia, and Dr. Dilip Ghosh, who is a coordinator and the backbone for signing of this MOU. And he is also a man of the phytomedicine. There are many, many plants in his directory and his inventory. He is eager to share. There are fenugreek, neem, haldi, tulsi, and many other. So now we request to Dr. Dilip Ghosh to please summarize your presentation and please share your views, and which has a scientific evidence, which we say that the scientific evidence to the Ayurvedic phytopharmaceuticals. Dr. Dilip Ghosh, please.
Good day, everyone, and namaste, everyone. Thank you, Professor Tanuja Nesari, for inviting me and giving this opportunity to present some of our experience in Australia on traditional medicine or complementary medicine. As advised by the organizing committee, I will focus my next 7-8 minutes talk on 3 areas. If you have any further question, I will be happy to answer in the panel discussion also. COVID-19, I think it's first detected in Australia and New Zealand end of January. After 3 months, if you compare the Australian New Zealand situation with the global is 3.58 million, death 25,000 nearly. But in Australia, it is just so far, that is 6,825. Death is only 95. In New Zealand, it is 1,137 infected people and death only 20. But when you compare the taste, I think this is very important. It is not only the infection rate, but how the disease is transmitting through the community. So we have one of the highest rate of testing in the world. That is 25 average 1,000 tests per 1 million of population. So that is really, really good to map the COVID transmission within the community. So we almost flattened the curves, not only flattened, so our daily increase of COVID patient, that is 1 digit, both in Australia and New Zealand. And New Zealand, there is no cases in last few weeks. That's why New Zealand already declared it is free of corona patient now. And that is very, very encouraging. What's the reason? I think India has a lot of inherent advantage. to reduce the transmission rate, because initially it was thought India would have millions of infection, but I am not going that part. But Australia, New Zealand, it is an island country, and it is not access through the land, it is only access through the airport. So government initially, when they detect the patient, they shut down the all airport. So that's why, and also the low density in all cities, the population density is very, very low. And Australia and New Zealand both are wealthy country, and their healthcare system is one of the best in the world, and government is sufficiently solvent to pump money into the welfare system. And so far, Australia has spent nearly $280 billion, that is 10% of the GDP, for the keeping the business running. It is not only the health crisis, as well as it is a financial crisis also. So we are managing this one. New Zealand, this is the few countries in the world, their strategy is elimination of this disease. And most of the country, they are struggling with the prevention stuff, but New Zealand strategy is the elimination strategy. So what is the status of traditional medicine in Australia? It is very, very high status. That is 76 to 77% of Australian, they are using complementary medicine. So we called complementary medicine, and Ayurveda is part of the complementary medicine in Australia. As you know, it is Ayurveda is a regulatory approved terms in Australia, but unfortunately, it is not approved medical system, Ayurveda, separate medical system in Australia and New Zealand also. It's a huge industry. And if you see that nearly $5.4 billion revenue coming from the complementary medicine, that is almost equivalent to the allopathic medicine also. So what are the initiatives we are taking? As Professor Neshari mentioned, from National Institute of Complementary Medicine, we call NICOM. It is a part of the Western Sydney University. We have signed a couple of MOUs with Ayush, All India Institute of Ayurveda, and Pune University also, to develop our not only the clinical R&D capabilities, but also the educational part of this Ayurveda in Australia also. We have very strong Ayurvedic association, that is Australasian Ayurvedic Association, we call AAAA. 350 practitioners are practicing in Australia, and roughly 50 to 100 in New Zealand. We have more than 1,500 homeopathic practitioners in Australia only. So it is a very, very strong force. Also, there is some negative things is going against homeopathy, but still it is very strong in Australia also. So our institute, it is we are very, very strong in complementary and integrative medicine. So we are considered as one of the largest institute and oldest outside China in integrative medicine things. We have completed so far more than 100 clinical trials. And if you see the Australian situation, there are more than 100 Ayurvedic ingredients. These are currently using in Australian complementary medicine. It's a very, very promising, and more companies are coming, not only from India also, but in the Australian industry. They are investing a lot of money. There are more than 90 manufacturing facilities in Australia. They are complementary medicine manufacturing. They are PIC GMP approved. And if you see the in last few years, Ayurveda is not only growing globally also, but it is growing exponentially in this part. So Australia and New Zealand, the consumer trust and popularity, that is growing. And that's why more and more Indian Ayurvedic industry, they are coming to Australia to develop their manufacture their products, because Australia is population is 25 million, but Australia is considered is one of the best market to test your product. So it is a best test market, and that's why many companies, they are coming to Australia to run the clinical trial, to develop their product, to launch their product in Australia, then go to the global market. So from that perspective, we are doing well, and we are going to start some Ayurvedic course with the help of All India Institute of Ayurveda, and also doing some very top level project in the clinical trial. And as concluding message, as our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji mentioned, yoga already conquered the world. It is every lane in the world, every lane in the Western world, there is a one yoga center. But the next phase, that is the golden opportunity for Indian medicinal system to conquer the world also. If we successful, and I hope under the guidance of Ayush, we would be successful to manage this crisis, not only the COVID, but all other emerging pandemic also. And that will be a phenomena, and Ayush, Ayurvedic medicine will conquer the world also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dilip Ghosh, and we compliment you for being in a green zone, and like in a from red, orange to green, you have set the example how to be in a green zone. And with the strength of wellness and Ayurveda, I think the entire world will become a green zone. May we follow your example. Thank you for joining with us, and please be with us, because many more experience sharing from different parts of the world, they are eager to join. So please be with us, Dr. Ghosh and other friends. And now with us is our youngest ambassador in Japan, Ayurveda ambassador, Dr. Siho. May I request you to please brief, as we are running little short of time and running behind the schedule. So may I request all the speakers please brief in your presentation. So Dr. Siho, can you please give the experience?
Yes, I can hear. Okay. Thank you, Professor Nasari, and thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts to the worldwide eminent people. I am a Japanese Ayurveda doctor. So here Japanese, we have a Japanese nationality BAMS doctor. Number can be 11 people. So I think worldwide, Japan is the most number of Japanese Ayurveda doctor. Yeah. So I am a practicing Ayurveda in the modern clinic since maybe 5-6 years. But now after this Corona crisis happened, our clinic, especially Ayurveda part, is now closed. So I'm not in the position to treat the COVID patient directly. So what I want to share is, I will share some picture. Yes. Okay. Like this. Okay. So this now Japanese government policy is like we should avoid these 3 C's. 3 C's is this confined place and crowded place and closed contact. So these 3 C's should be avoided to avoid to get infected. So then now from yesterday, the Japanese government now introduced devised lifestyle, like a new lifestyle above these 3 C's. So which are very interesting. So maybe Japanese Ayurveda society feel very happy because of this kind of government introduced device lifestyle is something related with dinacharya. So for example, wash your hand and the face after you came back from outside and take a shower. This is also written in our classics. And use the bicycle and the foot and walk more is recommend more vyayama. And also avoid chatting while you are taking meals. That is also part of dinacharya. So something we can follow, and also we can follow the two way. We are following the Japanese government and we are following Ayurveda too. So this is very interesting happen here in Japan now, I feel. So the next is, so now the world is more concentrate on how to treat the COVID-19. But sorry, my picture is very small. So, but COVID-19 people more rush to find and do the many research work to find out how to treat the COVID-19. But we have to be very careful. Many other issues which we need to concern behind the COVID-19 crisis. For example, the human is not isolating. We are not happy with isolated. We are more social animals. So we should be connect with people. So there is many like depression or suicidal cases, or maybe the people not going out, so more lifestyle disorder getting serious. And those people cannot take proper treatment also because all the hospitals now concentrate on the COVID patient too. So this is indirectly, we are supporting COVID crisis now by the helping those indirect suffering patients through, we can support through Ayurveda. And now our institute, since 20 years, we are educating Japanese society. So now also Dr. Bagel mentioned that Ayurveda is not only the medicine or herb, the concept is Ayurveda. So I feel without medicine, we can spread the benefit of Ayurveda through dinacharya. And also the yoga is very famous now all over the world, but yoga also have many philosophical aspects and history. It's very complicated science, but Ayurveda also too big scale to spread all part of Ayurveda. So we should more simplify Ayurveda more on the dinacharya. So dinacharya can be practiced everywhere, all over the world, without any material medicine, ashwagandha, shatavari, amaraki. We don't need to practice dinacharya. And also we can get the benefit, especially this kind of COVID crisis quarantine, people can easily practice dinacharya. So we are starting to promote dinacharya by our NPO institute. So this is some part of some slide we are trying to expand the information and knowledge of Ayurveda, especially dinacharya part. So these are slides which we already introduced to the society. So then also I think this some doctor from Germany, he said there is many home remedy which is introduced every day come from the India, but we should concentrate on some remedy such as like AIIA or Ayush is already distributed some very attractive home remedy slide. It is also translated in Japanese. We are very happy to see this kind of information from authentic institute. So this is my thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shivo, for briefing the initiatives of Japanese, like Indian government, Ministry of Ayush has notified the advisory. The same is by the Japanese government, and I'm sure everyone will start riding on a bicycle. So that is the
Tanuja, Dr. Tanuja,
yes.
Dr. Tanuja.
Yes, yes.
I am to join another webinar by 5:40.
Yeah.
So can you just give me 2 minutes so that, pardon? You are not audible. You are not audible.
Dr. Kartar Singh Dhiman, can you please share your views what Council is doing as a research initiative? Dr. Kartar Singh Dhiman, please, as he has to join another webinar. May we request Dr. Kartar Singh, that would be followed by Dr. Ariana Vora.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanuja, for inviting me.
We welcome
my
you.
namaskar to Jayant Dev Pujari ji, Dr. George Vera, and other friends from the across the country. Dear friends, the integrated approach to combat COVID-19 is a very good platform to share everyone's view. But in real words and spirits, this integrated approach, a pilot approach, has been initiated very rightly in words and spirits by Medanta Hospital, wherein the council is associated with the study, and one of our research officer is associated with the record keeping and day-to-day assessment of the patients, as well as we are also looking into the perspective that all those asymptomatic patients and mild patients and other types of patients, where do they fit very rightly in Ayurvedic perspectives also. So as a whole, it was the opinion of the Vaidya Samaj, the community of our Ayurvedic physicians, that it comes under the Vat Shleshmik and ultimately in the complication terms, it is terminating into Sannipataj phase. But our opinion at two places in Chaudhary Brahm Prakash as well as in the Medanta Hospital is a little bit different. A purely Vataj category of Vataj Jwara category is also prevailing, and Kafaj category is also prevailing, and it is very true that most of the patients are Vat Shleshmik in nature, and that's why the intervention taken up in Medanta Hospital was very classical, and Dr. Geeta Kishan was the pioneer in organizing that integrated pilot clinical trial at Medanta Hospital, where Guruchi and Pipli has been given. Except Medanta, this integrated approach in our country, where a living science of healing is prevailing since last 5,000 years, could not be intervened. But I give a call to everyone who is potential to convince as well as use their own relations as well as powers to convince the modern fraternity and modern hospitals, wheresoever this facility is COVID patients are being treated, and they should provide us a facility of integrated approach wherein we can give add-on our drug. Council has taken up our one of the formulations IUC.
So I think worldwide, like we.
So IU64, one of the anti-malarial drug which we noticed very recently that it is a very good antiviral also, and it is working nicely in flu-like illness. So it has been put as an add-on therapy for the trial. Secondly, the second thing which we could achieve is in containment zones of Delhi, our council has started intervening in the containment zones as a prophylactic study, and we have registered in CTRI. IEC clearance has been taken, and I think from tomorrow onwards, today we finished all these formalities, and from tomorrow onwards we will be intervening. For preventive aspect, we have selected 3 drugs: Sudarshan Ghanvati, Guduchi Ghanvati or Sanshamni Bhati, and Ashwagandha Equus Extract Ghanvati. We are going to intervene. And thirdly, at two Ayurveda hospitals where the corona patients has been housed in Delhi, like in Tibia and Ayurveda College, Krolbagh and Chaudhary Brahm Prakash. The process of allowing this is going on. I think their ICs has taken up the protocol, and there we are intervening with Ayush 64. And thirdly, KGUMS, University of Health Sciences, Lucknow has also agreed. We are in progress, and Banaras Hindu University Vice Chancellor has also given his kind consent to our secretary, and we are also in touch with, and we have shared the protocol also. And I think in a coming time, we will be initiating this integrated approach of COVID care in certain centers. And with the blessings of the God Dharmantri, we will certainly win this pandemic. And I think all of us, I give this call to everyone, all of us should use our relations as well as our powers, as well as whatever we can do, the indirect and direct relations to convince. And this is a very good time. We should come up with the integrated approach and generate a data on the clinical efficacy of Ayurveda treatment and Ayurveda intervention. And I wish all the success, and thanks again to Dr. Tanuja for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, DG Central Council of Research. With your huge network and a strong willpower, we will definitely win. And what is the take-home message you have given is stay integrated, stay united, and stay together, so that we will definitely provide a shelter to this entire storm, to the entire world. Thank you. In spite of your busy schedule, we are really sorry to our international speakers, so we just had to intervene. But I'm sure we'll maintain the flow in future.
Thank you very much.
Now, thank you. And now, from Harvard Medical School, which is, we said, is a Makkah, and a Massachusetts hospital, and a Spalding Rehab Hospital. When anything new comes as a research, any new message to the world, to the medical fraternity, entire world looks with lots of hope to the Harvard Medical School. And a professor, and we are really fortunate and feel proud and honored that Harvard Medical School and Spalding Rehab is a MOU partner of All India Institute of Ayurveda. We are initiating many public health trials along with our friend Arvind Chopra and All India Institute, and thanks to Ministry for giving us opportunity to work in musculoskeletal. But now here we are to speak about the COVID, what Dr. Ariana Vora, our MOU partner, wants to share, because she has many things to share. What is the medical fraternity is doing for the inpatient, outpatient, and what Ayurveda thinks for the COVID, and that let us understand and experience sharing from Dr. Ariana Vora, please. Dr. Yes, welcome and nice to listen to you, Dr. Ariana.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nesari. Thank you for your kind invitation to join this group and to all the organizers. And we are honored to be collaborating with you and with the All India Institute on our MOU. We have some great projects. We have gotten support from Harvard Medical School and Spalding Rehabilitation for some wonderful collaborative work, including a clinical trial on musculoskeletal health. Our enrollment is on hold at this time because of COVID, but we look forward to picking it up when the restrictions are lifted. In the United States, we have 1.2 million cases confirmed of COVID, 160,000 recovered as of today, and 69,680 deaths in our country. And it's probably much more because our testing has been insufficient, which probably the world knows we don't have enough tests. But at Mass General and Spalding and the Boston hospitals, we've been working very hard to protect patients and healthcare workers. And that has taken the form of some strict measures. For example, we've had a 600% increase in telehealth. We have switched all of our outpatient and elective work to telehealth. People are accessing us through their smartphones, basically. Patients are getting their care. All elective procedures are canceled. And the inpatient care, we have strict mask and gown protocols, a strict no visitor policy. Every member of the staff must be screened every day electronically before being allowed entry into the hospital or clinic. And patients are also being screened where they cannot come into certain clinics if they're sick for certain things. So the distancing is going to be continuing. Even when the clinics reopen, we're going to be practicing physical distancing, so the clinic capacities will be low because people have to be 6 feet apart at all times. So these are some of the measures here. And what we're seeing is we are definitely seeing the typical kind of, Vata Dwara people are talking about. We're seeing that kind of fever. We're seeing manifestations of disorders in Rasa Dhatu and Mamsa Dhatu, just profound fatigue and muscle aches. We're seeing anxiety and depression. And we're seeing some other things that I think, there are complications of isolation that we're seeing. There's been an upsurge in addiction, domestic violence, and deconditioning. And also, I have a couple slides to show you. There's a couple studies I thought you might be interested in. So I'm going to share my screen, if that works here. Hopefully, can you see my screen? So you can see, okay, good. So I just want to show you just a couple of things here. That what we're seeing is COVID-19 it does have a CNS tropism. And it really is not just invading the respiratory system, but the central nervous system. And there was a study early on, 214 severe cases from Wuhan, where 36.4% of these severe cases had neurologic symptoms: headaches, dizziness, myalgia, encephalopathy, necrotizing hemorrhagic encephalopathy, seizures, Guillain-Barré, anosmia, deep venous thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, and stroke. So I'd like to comment. So the anosmia is really quite common, and it may reflect